You're listening to Short History Shorts audio, where history speaks louder than images. Rising from the sunlit waters of the southeastern Aegean, the island of Rhodes was no mere speck in the Greek world. It was a beacon, a maritime city-state whose influence stretched far beyond its shores. Forged from a union of older cities and born at the crossroads of East and West, Rhodes was a nexus of trade, innovation, diplomacy, and military power. From the construction of the legendary Colossus to its dominance over sea lanes and regional commerce, Rhodes became a model of what an island empire could be. Small in size, but immense in strategic and cultural weight. The story of Rhodes begins with the unification of three ancient Dorian cities, Ialissos, Kamiros, and Lindos. In 408 BC, they formed a political union and established a new capital, Rhodes City, on the island's northern tip. This act of synoecism wasn't just about centralization, it was visionary. The newly unified Rhodes quickly became a powerhouse, taking advantage of its central position between mainland Greece, Asia Minor, Cyprus, and Egypt. Rhodes didn't just survive the chaotic Peloponnesian War period, it emerged stronger, its harbors buzzing with commerce, its merchants thriving in a fractured world. One of the defining features of Rhodes was its maritime character. The Rhodians built a powerful navy and developed one of the finest harbors in the ancient Mediterranean. They understood that sea power was not just about ships, it was about information, control, and diplomacy. By the 4th century BC, Rhodes was becoming a naval and commercial juggernaut, with shipping routes reaching deep into the Aegean, the Levant, and Egypt. Its wealth came not from land conquests, but from tariffs, shipping fees, and a sophisticated mercantile system. Rhodes was an island empire, not in the traditional territorial sense, but in its command of trade and influence through the sea. Rhodes also became known for its legal system, which influenced maritime law for centuries. Rhodian law, especially regarding shipwrecks, cargo, and contracts, was so respected that even Rome would later adopt parts of it. This legal sophistication was a reflection of Rhodes's orderly, oligarchic political system, where a balance of elite rule and civic participation created a stable society that was the envy of many less consistent polis. But Rhodes was not merely rich, it was formidable. When Alexander the Great died in 323 BC, Rhodes found itself caught between the successors, the Diadochi, who tore apart his empire. Rhodes resisted Macedonian influence and aligned with Ptolemaic Egypt, safeguarding its independence and maritime trade networks. One of the most dramatic episodes came in 305 BC, when Demetrius I of Macedon, known as the Besieger, launched a massive assault on the island. For a year, he hammered Rhodes with siege towers, catapults, and blockades. But the Rhodians, aided by Egyptian grain and aided by their ingenious fortifications, held firm. When Demetrius finally withdrew in failure, Rhodes had done the impossible, repelled one of the greatest siege efforts in ancient history. In gratitude to the sun god Helios for their victory, the Rhodians built the Colossus of Rhodes, a 33-meter-tall bronze statue that stood near the harbor, possibly straddling its entrance, though more likely standing beside it. It became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Though toppled by an earthquake just 56 years later, the Colossus remained a potent symbol of Rhodes's pride, engineering skill, and divine favor. Through the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC, Rhodes reached its golden age. It became a respected arbiter in international diplomacy, often mediating disputes between larger powers. Rhodes enforced naval security in the Aegean, cracking down on pirates and ensuring safe passage for merchant fleets. Its educational institutions attracted students from all over the Greek world, including future Roman elites. The island became known for its schools of rhetoric, philosophy, and astronomy, home to the likes of Hipparchus, one of antiquity's greatest astronomers. But power, especially maritime power, rarely goes unchallenged. Rhodes's independence began to erode as Rome expanded its influence. At first, the Rhodians maintained good relations with the Republic. even allying with Rome during its wars with Macedon. But after Rhodes tried to mediate between Rome and its enemies, Roman suspicion grew. In 167 BC, as punishment for what was perceived as meddling, Rome declared Delos a free port, diverting trade away from Rhodes and devastating its economy. The island remained technically independent for a while longer, but its days as a major power were over. By 43 BC, Rhodes was incorporated into the Roman Empire. Its autonomy was curtailed, though its cultural prestige lingered. The harbor remained busy, the schools stayed open, and the legacy of Rhodian law endured in Rome's own approach to maritime policy. Even as a provincial city, Rhodes never quite faded. The strength of its legacy was too deeply rooted in the foundations it had built over centuries: laws, fleets, diplomacy, and monumental pride. Rhodes reminds us that an empire doesn't need vast territory. Influence can be projected through trade routes, seaborne alliances, and soft power. While Athens and Sparta fought over land and ideology, Rhodes built something more subtle and more resilient: an interconnected sphere of influence that touched coasts across 3 continents. Though smaller in population and geography, it rivaled the great powers of its age through shrewd policy, strategic fortification, and cultural confidence. And while the Colossus may have fallen, its image, bright, bronze, and defiant, remains etched into human memory. It is the symbol of Rhodes's towering ambition. A city forged by the sea, ruled by its merchant kings, and admired even by its conquerors. This has been Short History Shorts Audio. Subscribe for more deep dives into the lesser-known titans of the ancient world, where every city has its moment.